Hey guys, what's going on? This is Atharva here, and today we're going to see what is Wagmi. So Wagmi is an npm package used for Ethereum hooks, and it's very useful if you want to let users connect to your website using MetaMask or any other Ethereum wallet. And it comes in handy. It makes things very easier, like sending transactions or using smart contracts on the front end. So yeah, this package is very cool and it's made for React. So we will look how to use that today. And also, before we start with all of this action, I would like to thank you for 700 subscribers. We recently passed 700 subscribers. Now we are sitting somewhere near at 711. Thank you for all your support, and I will continue bringing quality content to this channel. So I just created an Next.js application behind the scenes because we don't waste time creating Next.js applications. So I will just go ahead and install the packages. So the two packages we need are Wagmi and ethers. So we will type yarn add Wagmi and ethers, and then I'll press enter. Now this will take some time depending on your internet connection on your machine, so I'll just skip this and I'll come back when this completes. Perfect. Now let's open our Visual Studio Code. So I'll say code dot, and now this should open up Visual Studio Code. I will get this to full screen. I will go ahead and open the terminal here, and I'll say yarn dev, and I'll hit enter. And now I'll just go ahead and pull up a browser tab from the monitor, and after the browser has come, I'll just say localhost 3000. Now this should open on Next.js app. Perfect. So this is the boilerplate Next.js application which you will get whenever you install the Next.js application. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and clean up something. So first of all, we don't need anything here, so we'll just grab everything from the main till the footer and just remove it because we don't need any of that. Okay, now before we start with any of our action, first of all we need to pass in a config to Wagmi and wrap our application around the Wagmi config component. So let's do that right now. So first of all, what you need to do here, first of all you need to specify which chains you want to use. So and you do like this: const, I will open an empty object which we will get some data after we do the functions. Then we will say configure chains, and in this we will pass in the first parameter is default chains, right? So first parameter will be the default chain. So we will just be using Polygon Mumbai. So I'll say chain dot Polygon Mumbai. Perfect. And then it asks which provider you want to use. So if you use Alchemy or something like that, you can use that, but here we will be using the public provider because I don't want to create a new Alchemy account just for this. So for that you need to import the public provider. So I'll say import from Wagmi /providers/public, and now I'll say public I'll say public provider. Perfect. And here I'll just say public provider. That's all. And from here we need a few things. We need provider, we need WebSocket provider, because we will need to use this for configuration. Now we will create a client for our Wagmi, so for our instance. So we'll say const client is equal to create client, and this is a function in which we will be passing some properties. So first of all, we will say auto connect should be true, because whenever you load the page it should automatically connect if it's already connected. Then we will say we will pass in the provider and the WebSocket provider. So we already have that using those names, so we'll just say provider, WebSocket provider, and then we will pass in the connectors. So connectors here is an array with and you need to pass in some connectors, like which specific connectors you want, like MetaMask, Wallet Connect, Coinbase. So I am going to import all of these connectors, so we don't waste time importing all of these. Here are the connectors. These are the 4 lines of connectors. You can just copy these because we can't just spend a lot of time just writing all of this code. So I'll just go ahead and you can just pause the video and you can just copy it if you want to. And now in the connectors we'll just say we will just pass in all the configurations. So we'll say new wallet connect connector. First we will configure wallet connect, and we need to pass in a chain again, chains, and here we'll say chain dot polygon Mumbai, or else you can maybe try to do this also, I guess. Let's try to do this. It also gives you a chains object. Yeah, so it's an array, so you can just pass it chains here, so you don't need to worry about that. Perfect. We will try using that. If it doesn't work, we will go with the other method. Then we need to pass in other providers, so I'll just say, for example, Coinbase provider, Coinbase wallet provider, and here again we will just pass in the chains which we get from this object. Perfect. And then we have the MetaMask provider, new. Oh, I forgot to put new here. And then new MetaMask provider, MetaMask connector, I'm sorry. And then we again pass in chains here. Then we have another connector here, which is called the injected connector. So if you're using something like Brave browser, which has its own crypto wallet, that thing is called an injected connector. But if you're using like MetaMask as your default wallet and it's active at every page, then it's your injected connector. So yeah, so whichever is your default wallet is your injected connector. So let's do that. New injected connector, and here we need to pass in a little more configuration. So I will first of all pass in the chains, then we need to pass in some options, and in this options we need to pass in a name to this injected connector, because it doesn't know what this connector is, right? We just pass in the name here, we'll just say it as injected, and that's all. I'll just save the file, it will auto prettify it, and yeah, this is how the code looks. We have all the 4 connectors here: wallet connect, Coinbase, MetaMask, and injected connector. So these are available. I'm sure there might be more connectors in this package, but in this tutorial we are just covering these 4, and the process will be quite similar to how we will do in this episode. So yeah, you can just use it freely, but just to keep this episode short, I am just using these 4. Perfect. Now let's wrap our component in a Wagmi config. So I'll just cut this thing off, and then I'll say Wagmi config, and I will pass in the client here, and I'll put in the component here. So our entire application is wrapped inside a Wagmi config component. Perfect. Now let's try and see if everything works or not. I will just put this on another desktop, and yeah, so we see no error, so that means it's working fine. There is no problem in all of these things for now. Of course, if we get any error later, yeah, that always happens to me. So yeah, let's do that. Now let's go to our index.js file, and here we will make the connect button. So we will use all of those connectors, and we will make the connect buttons. The good news is that you don't need to copy paste the same code. You can just map through all the connectors, and it will auto make the buttons. So yeah, let's do that. First of all, we need to use the use connect hook to get all the functions which are necessary. So we'll say const, and we will open an object for destruction, and then we will say use connect. Perfect. And yeah, it has auto imported properly. Perfect. And now we need 2 things here. First of all, we need the connectors. So this provides us a list of connectors, and then we will have a connect function, connect. Yeah, so perfect. Now let's go ahead and create the buttons. First of all, let me just clear it out. We are not going to do styling in this episode. Styling is a completely different thing. I will make different videos for those tutorials, but this episode we will be focusing purely on Wagmi. So don't cancel me on my UI. I know it looks shit. It looks like I don't even know. I can't even roast my UI properly right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and do connectors.map. So remember, connectors have the list of all of our connectors which are configured before. So connectors.map, and here we will pass in a connector, and with each connector I want to render a button. So a button with the connector name, connector.name, Now this will show the connector name on the button, and what we want it to have is the key. So the key should be connector.id. Don't worry, all of this is like given in the connector object, so you don't need to worry about it. And then on click, we should be able to connect with that connector. So this will perform a function which will say connect, and connect using what? Connect using a connector, right? So we'll just pass in the connector here. Perfect. Now let's go back to our page, and I'm pretty sure if we reload this we are going to get an error. Yeah, so this is an error, text content does not match server rendered HTML. So this error is something related to server side rendering. I don't think we should spend a lot of time here, so we will simply suppress the warning for now. So we'll just say suppress hydration warning, and I'll just save the file. And now this warning should be gone even if we refresh the page 10-15 times. So yeah, I know this is not ideal, but for the sake of the tutorial we are just going to do it. If you are using basic React, I don't think you will ever get this error, like ever. So yeah, now let's go ahead and try using all of that. First of all, we have wallet connect. So yeah, wallet connect popped up successfully. We didn't do any of this. Wagmi provided us with all of this UI. Then let's try Coinbase wallet. Coinbase to open as well. You can just scan this QR code using your mobile phone, but don't scan this one. I'm not responsible if your funds get lost. So yeah, MetaMask, it simply opens up MetaMask. Perfect. And then we have injected, which also opens up MetaMask for in my case because I use it as my default Web3 provider. Perfect. So all of these work perfectly. So we won't be trying out all of these right now. We will be trying out MetaMask, but first we need to provide what happens when the user gets connected. So let's go ahead and use another hook here. We need actually two hooks. So first we'll say const and empty object, and we will say use account. Perfect. Now IntelliSense God, please help us and please give us is connected. Perfect. Then we need to use a Next.js hook, which is const router is equal to use router, which will help us to route to different pages. Perfect. And now here what we need is a simple use effect to check if the user is authenticated or not. So use effect, this should perform a function, and this should perform a function whenever the is connected variable is changed. So this is a boolean value, and whenever this changes, this function is performed. So whenever the user is authenticated or deauthenticated, this function should be performed, and we should say that if is authenticated is connected, we will just say router dot replace, which will redirect it to /dashboard. So we don't have the dashboard made yet, and we will be making it right now. So let's go ahead and create a new page here, new file, dashboard.js. Perfect. And now I'll say rfc. Yeah, I should just go ahead and rename this to dashboard. No, I want capital D. Perfect. And now in the dashboard, what we need to do is we need like a lot of hooks. So let me go ahead and check if something. Okay, here everything is perfect. Now let's go to the dashboard, and we need a couple of text box, because in this example we are going to demonstrate how to send funds using our application and without using MetaMask. So let's do that right now. First of all, we will be needing hooks, use account hooks, so that we can check if the user is authenticated or not, and if the user is not authenticated, we will redirect him back to the main page. So we'll say const is connected use account. Perfect. And then we will say use effect, and this should perform a function which should be performed after is connect changes. Perfect. And then we will check if is not connected. So if exclamation is connected, we'll say, oh, we also need the Next.js router. So we'll say const router is equal to use router. Perfect. And we will say router dot replace to homepage. Perfect. And also we need to have like two text boxes. One should be the value you want to send and one should be the address you want to send. So we'll just say const to set to, which is the address, and I will say use state. Perfect. And then we will have the value, so const value set value use state. Oh, we actually also need to pass in default value, which is an empty string here. Remember that we are deliberately taking the value as a string because it usually is a big number, so we'll just have it as string for now. So yeah, so now we can just proceed with the UI, but before going to UI I will just go ahead and create the hooks for the transaction. So let's do that. So I'll just say like const we will have an empty object here, and we'll just say use send transaction. So this is how Wagmi sends transaction just by using hooks. So yeah, this is amazing. So let me show you how to do this. So first of all, we need to pass in a request object which will have a to and which will have a value, but we won't be passing value just right like that, because in the UI we will be passing in like 1 matic, 2 matic, but we need to pass in a proper value here, which is a big number. So we'll just say value into 1e18. So 1 raised to the no, it's like 1 having 18 zeros, something like that, but that's used. So dot to string. So this is the value we need to pass. Perfect. And then on success we can have like this should be a function which should alert. I know alert, nobody uses alert in 2022, but we are not focusing on styling. So yeah, transaction successful, transaction created successfully actually. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and make the UI. So this is a very boring part. I'll just go ahead and copy and paste it because nobody focuses on UI. So yeah, so we have this basic div in which we have the input type text. We are passing in the address. We will just give it no, we don't need a placeholder because we already have a label. Then we have a value, then again it has the state, and then it changes the state accordingly. And then we have the send transaction function, which is not here for some reason. So yeah, that's because we have an empty object here. So this object we will destructure and it will give us the send transaction function. Perfect. Now we will save this and let's go back, refresh this. We will click on MetaMask. Perfect. We will choose account 1, connect. Perfect. Are we still on Mumbai? Yeah, we are on Polygon testnet. Perfect. Now it's asking for the to address, so I'll just go ahead and select the second account here, and I'll copy the address and go back to the first account, and I'll just paste in the address of the second account, and I will send like 10 matic. So when I click send, MetaMask should pop up, and then it will say that we are sending 10 matic, which is exactly what we expected, which will include all the gas fees, no, which will exclude all the gas fees. So it will put gas fees on the top of it, and then we will confirm the transaction, and then it will say transaction created successfully. Now if we go to MetaMask, we will see that its transaction is pending. So let's wait for it, and it will be just finished in like a few seconds. So yeah, it should be over by now. Why is it? I don't even want to speed up it. Hold on. Yeah, it's done. So yeah, so if we go back here, we have 60 matic here now. So we received like 10 matic, and if we go here we have 39 matic. So yeah, this is how it works. So if we go to like this is the basic example of how to use Wagmi, but if you want to go very advanced, you can just go to wagmi.sh. Here you will get a lot of examples. So if you go to docs and examples, you can get a lot of different things. So if you go to docs, and you can just go ahead and see the use contract hook. You can see that you can interact with your smart contracts just with this hook, just like we said, use the use send transaction hook. So you have use contract event if you want to track events. So if you want to yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? So use contract create, use you can even use disconnect to disconnect the wallet entirely. You can use ENS address to get some information about that. Yeah, you can do a lot of different things with Wagmi. So yeah, definitely recommended if you want, like if you're using React primarily and if you don't want to have the headache of using ethers directly or web3 directly, you can just use Wagmi and it will turn out very good for you. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you got to learn something new from this video. And also, if you want to see something specific to web development, you can just leave it to in the comment. You can just leave that suggestion in the comments below, and I'll make sure to make that video. And I have a lot of content coming, and I hope that we reach 1,000 subscribers soon. So if you like the video, just consider pressing like button and subscribe button to show some support to me. And yeah, that's it for this videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.